status of the India-US trade deal that's about to be finalized very soon. We'll look at what both countries want, what's holding it up, and why this agreement could be a massive shift for Indian exports, American businesses, and global trade partnerships. We'll also hear from US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and decode what these comments really mean for India. So stay tuned till the end. So hi, this is Khatija and you're watching the Free Press Journal. Now let's dive into a story that's not just about numbers or policies, but about how two of the world's largest democracies are redrawing their economic future together. The India-US trade relationship is on the brink of transformation, and the person at the center of this buzz is US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who has given the clearest signal, yet this deal is almost done. In a keynote speech at the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum in Washington, Lutnick was candid, hopeful, and surprisingly appreciative of India's role. Here's what Howard Lutnick said about India.
The president is willing to call out things straight away, meaning India is very protectionist with tariffs. They have 100% tariff on this and 100% tariff on that, and if you ask them why, the answer is, I don't know why, it just is. So I think the idea of really looking at those things, thinking about them, and bringing them down to a level that is reasonable and appropriate so we can be great trading partners with each other, I think is absolutely on the table, and it's not stressful. Because they haven't thought about it, they think, yeah, it makes sense. Let's go make this a proper trading relationship.
First, you should expect a deal between the United States and India in the not too distant future, because I think we found a place that really works for both the countries. Secondly, he added that the right negotiators have been placed on both sides and it's creating positive momentum. And lastly, when they put the right person in India on the other side of the table, and we have managed that, I think. Now, what does this statement really suggest? Is it just diplomatic optimism or a real breakthrough behind closed doors? The timing couldn't be more critical. Why? Because both countries are chasing a massive leap in trade from the current $191 billion to a whopping $500 billion by the year 2030. Final negotiations are currently taking place in New Delhi with a high-level US delegation landing this week. Officials on both sides are racing against the clock to close the interim agreement by end of June, a stepping stone to a full multi-sectoral deal expected by September or October this year. And in case you're wondering why India is rushing, it's not. It's just ambition and its strategy. Lutnick made this very clear. Here's what he said about early movers like India.
Earlier countries get a better deal. That's the way it is. So those who come in, July 4th to July 9th, there's just going to be a pile. Right? But those who are earlier, and I think India is trying hard to be one of the earlier countries, which I appreciate. But these kind of deals used to take 2 or 3 years, and we're trying to get them done in a month, which is, just not the ordinary DNA of trading relationships between countries. But what I hope to achieve is
earlier countries get a better deal. That's the way it is. So those who come in July 4th to July 9th, there is just going to be a pile. India is trying to come in earlier than that. Yes, there is a clear advantage to being among the first pacts finalized. It gives India the edge to demand better terms, preferential access, and possibly a stronger footing in long-term US economic policy. On the Indian side, there is equal optimism. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, speaking from France, confirmed both countries are committed to work together and both desire to give preferential access to each other's businesses. We are working towards the bilateral trade agreement. And here's something critical. India is pushing for a complete exemption from the 26% reciprocal tariff that the US currently imposes on Indian exports. Now a quick question to you all. Do you think the US will agree to remove that tariff, especially under the Trump administration's protectionist lens? Let me know in the comments. Now, speaking of the Trump administration, well, yes, Donald Trump and this deal traces its roots back to February when Trump and Prime Minister Modi jointly announced the intent to work on a comprehensive bilateral trade pact. The structure is being built in phases, with the first stage focusing on tariffs, market accesses, and some technology related exports. But what makes this deal truly significant is not just the numbers, it's the strategic timing. With the world grappling with shifting alliances, geopolitical tensions, and supply chain rebalancing post COVID, this deal signals that both democracies are betting big on each other. But let's keep it very real. What's at stake if it doesn't go through on time? First, delays could trigger uncertainties in sectors like pharma, defense, data governance, and even agricultural sports. Second, Indian exporters may continue to struggle with tariff burdens in the US market. Third, and politically both the sides may lose a crucial talking point ahead of future elections. So yes, the pressure is on and the urgency is real. Now, what's next? The coming days will be critical. If the current round of talks in New Delhi ends successfully, we might see an interim deal before July, paving the way for the larger agreement in the second half of 2025. It's a moment that could redefine the India-US trade narrative, from potential partners to strategic economic allies.
We would like market access. We would like our businesses to have reasonable access to the markets of India. Now, it's not going to be everything and it's not going to be everywhere, but we want to have the trade deficit reduced. Now, in exchange for that, what India is going to want is they're going to want certain key markets that they're going to want to make sure that they have special access to the American marketplace. And so that's the trade-off. If I say, look, I'll treat you incredibly kindly on the things that are really important to you, and you bring down your tariffs and give us market access, and let's find the proper place in the middle.
And as Howard Lutnick rightly said, we found a place that really works for both the countries. Now let's see if both sides can hold on to that mutual sweet spot. Now here is the last question for you. What's the one sector you think will benefit most from the India-US trade deal? Textile, tech, or defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. So yes, that's it from me today, and you have been watching the Free Press Journal. For more accurate, engaging, and deeply explained global stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.